Welcome to the section of our course where we'll be talking about finance. I'm Kagiso.
And I'm Ayanda. Welcome, and I hope you enjoy it.
We'll be covering costs in a business, and we'll be using our bakery setup to help you understand what different costs are associated to a business, and hopefully will help you make some moolah.
Now, we've all ran into the problem of losing money because you haven't really controlled your costs. So hopefully, by the end of today, you'll know exactly what costs are, how to control them, and to grow your business. So why don't we kick off with looking at what direct and indirect costs are, but also looking at fixed and variable costs. Why don't you tell us about direct costs, Kagiso?
So direct costs are costs that are associated directly, as the word suggests, to making your product or your service. In this case, we'll be baking a cake to illustrate what direct costs are. So as Ayanda has kindly done already, she's added flour to the cake.
Yep.
And flour is directly relating to making a cake. Okay?
What other costs go into making
some
a
baking
cake?
soda.
Yeah.
Sorry, baking powder. You can add a little bit of salt.
Some Salt Bae going into that.
Some salt. Vanilla essence, not too much, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can think directly into whatever service or product that you're building. What is directly related to making this? Making this cake, we're obviously using all the ingredients. Some egg. This is directly related to making the cake because without egg, we definitely cannot make a cake.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, Kagiso, you're telling me direct costs are costs that go into what we make as a product we sell.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Maybe you can take us through another cost that we have to be aware of.
So when we start looking at variable costs are costs that change on a month-to-month basis. These are costs you have zero control over and you just have to incur on a monthly basis. So when we look at the spread on the table, you note that you've got a varied amount of ingredients to make your cake, but sometimes you don't have control on how many orders will come in. Thus, you really don't know how much your variable cost is. So when you look at your variable cost, you know that this is a cost that will change on a month-to-month basis, but you've already budgeted for it. So why don't you take us through fixed costs?
So fixed costs, as you can see, we're in a bakery and it costs money for us to be operating here. So that is a fixed cost. The rent for this bakery is a fixed cost. It's directly relating to the building, not relating to the cake that we're baking.
Yeah.
But it's very important that you're well aware of what your fixed costs are because you have to price them correctly in order to make sure that you always make a profit when you're selling your products.
So would your salary be part of a fixed cost?
That's a very good question. Your salary is actually a fixed cost because it's something that is fixed every month. So your rent is a fixed cost, for example. Salary is a fixed cost. The insurance that we need in this bakery, because you're not such a great baker.
I'm a great baker.
We do need that. So that is a fixed cost as well.
That is very interesting. So these are costs you continue to incur no matter what.
Yes.
So fixed costs for me, from what you're saying, is a cost that will come off on a monthly basis and you have to account for it.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
So when we start looking at your indirect costs, these are costs that don't relate directly to making your cake. So some examples of indirect costs would be the electricity you need, some water, the water you pay for that cake, and anything else really that doesn't relate directly to making your cake, but you still have to pay that cost to run your whole shop.
Would these boxes be direct or indirect?
So this would definitely be indirect costs because it doesn't go into making your cake, but you need it to deliver your cake to your customers. Because remember, when you create your product, it's all about deliverance, how it looks at the end of the day. And this is quite important to make sure your customers are happy with what you bring.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of milk. Here's another direct cost to making this cake.
I think our cake's going to be amazing.
I think it's going to be amazing. It looks great already. So milk also another direct cost to making this cake. So as you've all have seen, and as you know now, hopefully, direct costs, indirect costs, fixed costs, and variable costs are definitely some costs that you have to be aware of in order to be able to make this beautiful cake.
And we're going to wrap it up there. And hopefully you took away some knowledge from today's course. And we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Bye.